once again. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Thanks for subscribing to the channel too. If you haven't yet, please support the channel by subscribing and keeping yourself updated of the videos that I will be posting. It's always nice to be back. It's always for something or is missing in a classroom or something that I learned new. But today I'm starting a couple of videos on Adobe Illustrator, a software obviously created by Adobe. And today I'm going to do an overview of the software, discover pretty much the entire interface of the software, and explain a little bit what you can do with the software. Okay, it's a really powerful software. I've been using the software for many years. I'll explain a little bit more about my background, of why I changed it to the software. But here, after open, let me just start sharing a little bit what versions of the software I have. I'm just click here in Illustrator, about Illustrator. I'm working with a 2023 version of it, fresh version 27.8.1 versions of the software. Okay, so this is the version that I'm working now. All right, after opening the software, usually you get this interface here. I just changed for the list. So I have a lot of work here, but here in the 2023 version, you see welcome to Illustrator Joab, because I am logged in the software. Really early versions, maybe 10 years ago, I would say, the software, you did not need to log in. It didn't have a cloud. Adobe, pretty much you downloaded the software or you own the software, you did not have to log in. But now it's a software that's completely connected to the Adobe website, and you need to be logged in. You need to have an account. So so here is my account. You can see even a little cloud here. Okay, so it's really important to create an account in the Adobe website and download the software from there. If you're a student, a college student, maybe your college provides the software for free. You also have a free trial if you want to download the software, or if you want to acquire the software, there's monthly fees that you can pay for, or you can buy yearly subscription. Okay, all right, cool. So let's dive in. So here on the left side of the software, I have a new file. I have open, home, learn. My files are shared with me in the delete button. It is really nice because people can share Illustrator files with me. Okay, here I have already a few templates, letter, and showing the exactly size of each of the templates: postcard, common, HDV TV, which is a video, which is previous 10 years ago did not have templates like this to work specifically with moving image, and even Adobe Photoshop's really into that too, with timeline working spaces, and so that's really interesting. Here, more present, if I click on here, there are a tons of other templates that I can see. So the templates are saved if I created my own templates, mobile, web templates for websites, prints templates, there are film and video templates, are illustration, and all free that you can see here, that you can scroll. More templates as well, other types of templates for you that you can work. All of them are free. It shows here free, you don't have to pay for. And here there are a few things to organic business web banner. There's the type of templates that it gives you all the specifics about each one of them. Again, saved, I don't have it, anything here. So for each template you also can see really in detail. Let me just go with a print. you can see in detail more what it's what pretty much information that refers to each template. So here the templates are in points. You can change the pixels. It shows the exact size of the templates. If there's bleed or margins can be adjusted. The color mode of the templates come at C and YK color. Because I'm creating a I'm gonna play a little bit with color. I will go and create color for the web, RGB, which is for the web. Say MYK is for printing. So it's cyan, magenta, yellow, and another color. Okay, I forgot what that stands for. So and RGB, red, green, and blue. Okay. Let's see. Here there is the PPI. This is very, very important. This talks a lot about the resolution. Okay, here's the size of the image and here's the resolution. Usually 300 PPI is the most recommended. If you want to send files through email, right now the emails is nice and developed. 150 PPI is good. 72 definitely tiny images, never this. But and you can see here screen, medium, high. So any type of file professionally that you want to send, highly recommended 300 or more. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there, 300, pretty good. There's previous mode here, default, pixel. I'm gonna just put a pixel here. There's more settings too, and I'm gonna just click and more settings so you can see a little bit more in details. Okay, so here shows the number of artboard. Again, color modes, I'm gonna just change this to RGB. I'm gonna rename here my work to intro to Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. There you go, good. Intro to Adobe Illustrator. Here there's the orientation of the page. This can be rearranged and played. I'm gonna leave in portrait mode here. Don't want margins, bleeding. I don't want anything here. Numbers of artboard. I will show to you what is artboard is. Usually Illustrator starts with one artboard. There is a custom here, which it's pretty much what you can see here on the top, but nothing on. And I'm just gonna create a document. Okay, all right, cool. So this is the interface of Adobe Illustrator. And another thing too, most of the Adobe softwares, the interface is pretty similar. I would say, I mean, there's so many, so they have so many software now, but it's like major softwares like Illustrator, Dreamweaver, Illustrator, InDesign, Adobe Photoshop. They're very, very similar. Things get changed a little bit when you get to Dreamweaver, After Effects. It's kind of really, really, really different. And Adobe Premiere too, which is the largest, is most well-known softwares. But again, Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign pretty similar. Okay. If you haven't watched yet my tutorial on Adobe Photoshop, highly recommend you guys do go there and get yourself familiar with that. It will help you, and even for you to understand a little bit more about Illustrator. Here again, all the tools are on the left side, lots of the tools on the left side, a very important menu on the top. There is another sub menu here, which you do not, well, you see that in Photoshop as well. There is a large, many menus here on the right. More few tools here that you can see too in between the working area and this where you see properties, libraries, and layers here. I usually change my working space. Actually, this is the good working space though. It's already in Essentials and Classics. That's my favorite. There's a lot of different working spaces. Yeah, again, I like the classic. I'm more familiar. Sometimes I use the painting one, but the classic is a pretty decent for me, okay, for what I do. All right, so before we dive in this, myself going into the tools, I will not cover every single tool, but I will explain a little bit more the difference in between Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so and I will just drag an image here to explain to you more practically what makes this software different than Photoshop. Let me just grab something here. I will just grab one of my works here. I think that will be good. Let me just grab a picture of one of my works, and actually, just give me a second. Photograph of one of my pieces. Good. I think that this will be a pretty good one. So I have here a photograph, one of my works, and I opened this photo in Illustrator. Right, I'm now opening this photo in Photoshop. It's in Illustrator. Okay. What makes this software, Illustrator, different than Photoshop is that Photoshop pretty much is almost in the name of the software. So Photoshop works primarily with photos. You know, it's the focus is photos. You can do, I mean, there's a lot of other things that you can do with the software, but photos is the primary thing that you can do. Illustrator, you can do illustrations. Okay, it's a good software that you can do illustrations. Again, there are tools that you can create, that you can play with in both softwares. Pretty fine. But Illustrators is mainly is like heavy focus on illustration. Okay, heavy focus. And then the most well-known thing about Illustrator, and Illustrator is a software that works with vectors. So let me just write the words here. Vectors. Okay. So if you don't know what vector is, and I will show you what vector is just by using this word here. What vector is, it is a type of image created that is definitely very different than a photograph. It's an image that it's not created through pixels, okay? An image is usually created to pixels, right? But a vector image, it's not pixels. And how do you know that? How do you know that this image is not, it doesn't have a pixels? All right, so let me just start with the letter V, okay? I'm gonna take it off this vector here. I'm gonna stick with V. That will be easier for me to show to you what a vector is and what make this image here, this V, different than a photograph. Okay, so if I got this photo image here and really enlarge this photo, okay, make this image really big. Actually, let me just crop this image because it will be hard for me to keep maximized. Let me just crop it, okay? But we're gonna go there a little bit. Let me just crop the image to make this image really small like this. All right, this will be easier for me. So this image here, any photograph is made out of pixels. How do you know it? So pixels are these really tiny squares that you can see that makes an image. As you can see here, there's a lot of little images here, a lot of little squares that creates an image, okay? So this is a photograph. But vectors, it does not have a pixels. You can make this V big and high as the sky, and you will never lose its resolution, okay? let me do something with this V first. Okay. You never lose its resolution. Okay. And it really doesn't matter. Okay. And I will show to you very closely the size of the V. Okay. So here I have an image. As you can see, hold on, right there. I move a little bit to the side. You can see, here you can see an image with pixels because it shows all the squares, right? All the squares. But this, the V here, it's absolutely imperfect, right? I can change the color of it. It's perfect. There is no edge or pixels on it. So this is called vector, okay? If you get this image here and blow this image, I don't know, 20 times bigger than this, you will not know absolutely what this image is. But if you blow this V here, if you expand it to 1 million times, you say, I want to make this V 1 million times bigger, you always will be able to recognize that this V perfectly. So vectors, I use vectors mostly not just images, like especially letters, are definitely using billboards, because when you expand the letters, especially letters, you never lose its resolution. It's always perfect. Images, they're high resolution in images, and images can be, you can now, especially nowadays with really amazing camera technologies, you still can make very large images without losing much resolution. But if you get very close to the image, you're going to be able to see the pixels, because images are not vectors. Okay, images are not photographs. What I'm saying, more specifically, photographs. They are not vectors. So a type of image, there's a vectors, usually PNG images, and JPEGs, and other types of images. There's many other types out there, but we're not going to discuss that anymore. But again, make this bigger a little bit. Again, what makes Illustrator different than Photoshop is that Photoshop create vectors, and Photoshop works with photographs, and Illustrator works with vectors, and they are completely different. Okay, so don't forget that. So this is what makes it's always really nice, especially if you work with fonts and other types of illustrations, work with both softwares. It's highly recommended. So without any further ado on that explanation, let me go now and explain some of the tools here. Okay, so again, you have a window here with a workspace very similar to Photoshop, with a lot of tabs that you can post, that you can add it and play with it. Okay, you have view, presentation modes, you have effects, very similar to Photoshop. I mean, very similar things here. Okay, very similar. We have also layers, which that's what Photoshop works. The layers here works a little bit different than in Photoshop, but not much different. You still have the plus button here that you can click, create layers. You can lock the other layers. You can use tools to create things on the layers and lock it again. Very similar to Photoshop. You can change the placement of each layers in the bottom and the top. So again, very similar, no secret. Okay. One thing that you have here, which is really fun about Illustrator, is that you have something that called the artboard. Remember that in the beginning when I was giving introduction, you can create multiple artboards. So the artboard is this white spot here. Let me just delete this. Let me just delete this one here. Okay. I'm just delete that one and leave it things out here. So what the artboard is, let me start. Should have started for the top, but start for the artboard would be better. Okay. What the artboard does is you can resize the artboard, and these are very, very, very good for printing, for creating banners, for creating very specific sizes of images. So, for example, you will create a banner for YouTube, right? And you just want a part of this V or part of this image here. You select the artboard, you change it, and you just click on Ask button, the escape button, and when you save, let me show it to you. When you save, you have the banner, just the image of that size, as you can see. So, so the best thing about this, the artboard, is that you actually really can resize and say, yeah, I want the artboard like this, very tall, very thin, like this. That's artboard that I want. You can add images there, and then you can click to save, so you just have the artboard. So this is really, 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 really nice and convenient for you to create very specific images for websites, for printing again, for logos. So people who create logo types, specific buttons for the web. I mean, Illustrator is like hands down when it comes down for it to create fonts. And that's a project that in a couple of videos I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create it, fonts and typography. So it is really, really amazing on that. So artboard is definitely one of the biggest highlights on Illustrator. Okay. Other things that you can do here too, and I mean pretty similar buttons, you know. Magic wand, there's fonts, there's shapes, there's forms. Again, nothing too strange here compared to Photoshop. So please make sure that you look at the other video in Photoshop. So pretty similar. There is, you know, I mean, very, very similar. You have also like lots of button, brushes. Yeah, you have a little bit more things here. Than Photoshop. Let me just actually, yeah, you have pretty similar things. Let's see, let's get this brush here. Okay, right there. You can change the brush types. So yeah, nothing that you didn't see in Photoshop. As you can see, you can make drawings. Again, those drawings, they're all vectors. Okay, the drawings are all vectors. They are not pixel. They are not actually, some of them are pixel though. So here, this is an image, and that's a fun thing to show to you guys. So you can see I make this really big. Yeah, they are actually images in pixels. Okay, the brushes. So you actually can see that they are not vectors. Okay. All right. Let me delete this. All right. Let's see other things here that you can do. Yeah, you can create masks with Photoshop. Well, with Photoshop, not with Illustrator. Again, there's a filter tab. There's some forms here. You can color things out. Let me see what else you can do here. That's interesting. There's symbols, which I don't think Photoshop has it. I don't never explore in Photoshop. But there's symbols that you can drag it. Many symbols here, as you can see. If you can't find this symbol tab, let me close here. Let me just close that tab, okay? because I want to show you. If you can find the tabs, they're always here in Windows. And you just scroll down, you click symbols, that will be up here. You can drag your tab to the other tabs. So you always can add tabs, symbols. Symbols are all pixels as well. As you can see, they're flowers. And there are no vector, they are images on. Okay. Well, you can ask me the question, Joab, how do I make an image a vector? And I will explain to you in future videos. Okay. But what else can you do here that can be really fun? Yeah, so your tools. Yeah, the filters, they have the filters for Photoshop. As you can see, we'll click here in Effect, Effect Gallery. Let me make this bigger. Yeah, there is the filters for Photoshop. Literally the same thing. Okay. I can just click on that flower and let me just go to filter, just to effects gallery right there. Again, there is a filters for Photoshop. So again, no secret, nothing that you don't know. Okay, you click OK, you're fine. Right there. Let me see if there's any other thing that I'm not covering here. I mean, that's other things too. Yeah, there's a pattern. The pattern is really fun. Top of tools. Let me just show to you a little bit how the pattern looks like. So I'm just use this flower to play with the pattern. So come here to File. What's the file? Let's see, Edit, Pattern, Make Pattern. So this is a really fun tool that you don't find in Photoshop. And after you make the pattern is added here in Symbols, or actually it's not in Symbols, it's added here in the Watches. You see new pattern there. After I click Save a Copy, you just, hold on, saving here. Let's see, done, right there. If I create a shape here, let me see, and I click on the pattern got added inside of my shape. You see it? Let me make a bigger shape. Right there. See, I just added a pattern on. So that's kind of the fun thing about it, about the about Photoshop, about Illustrator. You can create a lot of fun things right there. There's a pattern. What else? There's other things. There are brushes again. Yeah, so that's kind of an overview of Illustrator. And look at the other videos. I'm gonna create more really nice fonts and explain how to make images on vector, especially when you add image that you took a picture or scanned. But I will cover more on how to again, how to create vector images, okay, in more specific way. Again, watch the video in Photoshop. It's pretty simple. And play with this software. It just there's a lot of things that you can do. It's really fun. Play with fonts. You can download fonts in the software and install them. So many nice fonts here. Let's see, new media workshop. Let me see what we got here. And so right there's lots of fun fonts that you can play. So new media workshop, personal use only. So yeah, this is really fun. Cool. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Look out for the videos. This is the first video that I want to show to you guys. and take advantage of this really powerful software. And I will see you guys in the next time in the next video. Keep your eye on. Okay. All right. Bye.